The pressure of exams loomed over every corner of the university, and even Xiao Hao wasn't spared. Every night, he squeezed into the library, racing against time to study. However, over the past few days, he had been feeling increasingly exhausted, as if his head were filled with chaotic weapons. Determined not to let his grades suffer, he decided to go to the second floor of the library, where the study rooms were deathly quiet, the ideal place for reviewing. On Wednesday night, Xiao Hao gathered his books. He arrived at the second floor study area. It was empty. With desks and chairs neatly arranged, the only sound was the faint noise of his footsteps on the floor. He found a seat by the window and sat down to study. Just as he opened his notebook, he noticed a worn sticky note pressed under a book on the desk. The handwriting was crooked and forceful, as if written in a rush. Curious, Xiao Hao picked it up. It listed 3 strange rules. 1. After 9 p.m., do not approach the deepest part of the bookshelf area. 2. If you hear someone quietly calling your name, do not respond and do not look up. 3. Before leaving, make sure all chairs are pushed back into place. Otherwise, someone will do it for you. Who wrote this? A prank? Xiao Hao chuckled and tossed the note aside. He thought, how could such strange things happen in a library? Still, out of curiosity, he glanced at the time, 8:59 p.m. Xiao Hao buried himself in his studies. Time quickly slipped past, and by 10 p.m., the West Wing grew increasingly quiet. He looked up and realized he was the only one left. The bookshelves and desks cast long shadows under the dim lights, making the space feel empty and oppressive. Just as he was about to resume reading, a faint sound reached his ears, like whispers between the shelves. Xiao Hao looked up, frowning. The voice was intermittent, and he couldn't make out what was being said. Could someone else be here? He muttered to himself. His gaze fell on the deepest bookshelf. The sound seemed to come from there. He got up and started walking towards it. But after just 2 steps, the first rule on the note flashed through his mind. Do not approach the deepest part of the bookshelf area. He froze mid-step. After a moment's hesitation, he shook his head, thinking he must just be tired, and turned back to his seat. Back at his desk, Xiao Hao tried to refocus on his book, but the whispering didn't go away. Even stranger, he now clearly heard someone calling his name. Xiao Hao, Xiao Hao. The voice was soft, but chillingly eerie. It sounded familiar, but he couldn't place who it was. Xiao Hao's back tensed, his hands clenched. Do not respond or look up, the second rule surfaced in his mind. He took a deep breath and forced himself to ignore the voice. He kept his head down, reading, but the voice drew closer, hovering right by his ear. Xiao Hao, come here. The voice carried a strange allure, as if trying to tempt him to look towards it. Xiao Hao gritted his teeth and stared hard at his notebook. Sweat trickled down his forehead, soaking the pages. After what felt like an eternity, the voice finally vanished, and silence returned. Xiao Hao let out a shaky breath, though his hands still trembled. He glanced at his phone. It was nearly midnight. He decided to pack up and leave, but both the exhaustion in his body and the weight in his chest made him feel drained of strength. He hurriedly stuffed his books and pens into his backpack, then pushed his chair back and stood up. As he neared the door, he suddenly remembered the last rule on the note. Before leaving, make sure all chairs are pushed back into place. Otherwise, someone will do it for you. He frowned and looked back at his seat. The chair was askew, left a short distance from the desk. He hesitated for a moment, then shook his head. What could possibly happen? Xiao Hao muttered to himself, then walked out of the study room without looking back. The next morning, Xiao Hao returned to the second floor of the library. He had wanted to forget what happened the night before, but when he reached his seat, he froze in place. His chair had been neatly pushed back under the desk, as if he had never moved it the night before. Even more disturbing, the floor beneath the desk was damp. A trail of tiny footprints stopped right beside the chair. It looked like something had walked over to the chair and pushed it back, but never left. Xiao Hao never dared to go to the library at night again. Every time he recalled the whispers and those footprints, a chill crept up his spine. Some rules, perhaps, are meant to protect you, not to be broken.